first year. Our today's topic is from second paper, prose and fiction. And our first prose piece is by Elizabethan essayist Francis Bacon. With Bacon, your other essayists are Steele and Goldsmith, who are from Augustan age. Then we have a romantic poet Lamb, who is also called the Prince of Essayists. Then we have moderns Bertrand Russell and Virginia Woolf and Naipaul. The Elizabethan essayist Francis Bacon is generally regarded as a father of the English essay, for he was the first to use the word essay in England. His volume of essays, published in 1597, and was the first work of prose composition in this genre. Bacon is the first essayist in England and one of the greatest. He published a short series of essays in 1597, enlarged in two later editions of 12 and 1625. The term essay and the general conception of this literary kind he borrowed from the French essayist Montaigne, but filled it with material drawn from his own mind. He regarded the essay a receptacle for detached thoughts, and so he called his essays dispersed meditations. He was an extremely busy man of the world who was in the habit of jotting down his experience, views on man and his life. That's why he defined his essays as counsels, civil and moral. His purpose was not to preach ideal morality, but to give valuable guidance on a variety of subjects drawn from day-to-day affairs of practical life. Hence, it was that his essays come home to man's business and bosom, and were immensely popular. Bacon remains unmatched in giving so much shrewd advice for the management of one's life. His essays are mines of practical wisdom. No one who seeks worldly advancement can afford not to read Bacon's essays. They were translated quite early into French, Italian, and Latin. Bacon's essays are of aphoristic kind, means in a pithy and epigrammatic style he delivers his message. Bacon lacks the intimacy of style and treatment of Charles Lamb. He has his own stately and magnificent way for his profound thoughts. His essays are reflective. For example, the present essay of studies highlights the importance of studies in one's life. At the beginning of studies, Francis Bacon tells the readers that the three important benefits of studies serve for delight, for ornament, and for ability. The pleasure of study can best be enjoyed by a man leading a life of aloofness and retirement. The ornament value of study lies in enabling a man to become a good talker. He who spends too much time in studies is temporarily lazy. Means if you are giving too much time, that doesn't mean you study a lot. Bacon is of the view that you must know how to study, what to study. And he who makes too much use of reading for purpose of conversation is trying to make a vain display of his learning. If a man's judgment is governed wholly by rules he has learned from books, it shows his eccentricity. The message of Bacon is that we should have a balance between our practical knowledge and between the bookish knowledge. Studies make one develop one's ability with ease. Studies by themselves provide guidance, but without practical experience, this is abstract. Men who are cunning do not approve of the studies, but those who are simple feel an admiration for studies. Men who are basically wise make use of studies for their progress. One should not read books only to contradict others. All things written in books should not be followed in life. One should ponder over what is read and how he uses it. Then Bacon tells about the books, the sifting, the sorting out, that some books are to be read in parts only, some may be read quickly and hastily. There are only a small number of books that are worth close and detailed study. In the case of some books, a man may engage somebody else to read them and then tell him what they contain and also give him extracts from them. Means some books, according to Bacon, some books are like that, that we should know the summary from some other person. We shouldn't give too much time to such books. But this method should be adopted in the case of meaner, cheaper sort of books only. No man can be satisfied with a mere summary or synopsis of a good book. Reading develops the whole personality of a man. Conversation makes a man witty. Different kinds of books have different effects upon the reader. Now he gives the example with different subjects like history makes a man wise, poetry makes a man imaginative, mathematics develops subtlety in a man, and natural science enables a man to look deep into the things. Logic and art of public speaking develop a person's communicative skills. Now, it's called that ideal essay is a personal essay. Bacon's essay is not a friendly, intimate chat, but his style is reflective. He gives thoughts, as this essay talks about the books. And particularly noticeable is his style. Many of his thoughts have become maxims, like studies serve for delight, for ornament, and for ability. Crafty men condemn studies, simple men admire them, wise men use them. Next, some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. Further, reading makes a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. These maximums are important for reference to context. Go through the text carefully and then write the summary of the essay. Thank you.